It's no secret that a lot of people, and this goes for both males and females, are a little bit weary in this day and age about getting into relationships, but particularly men are weary about getting into relationships. And, there's multiple factors involved. The biggest factor is the system, obviously. The current system that's in place. Every man sort of knows that if he's in a long-term relationship with a woman, if they get married, if they have children, at the drop of a dime, at the snap of a finger, she can just change her mind, right? One day she loves him, the next day she's changed her mind. And she can divorce him, take the house that he built, take alimony, take child support for any kids that they have, and he'll be off living in a one-bedroom apartment while she moves somebody else into the home that he built. That's the horror story that men are being told. And in a lot of cases, it actually does happen. But a lot of guys are at a young age, they're in their 20s. They're not even in a serious relationship. They don't even have kids. They've never been married. They've never been screwed over. But they're hearing these stories and they're making the decision that maybe checking out of the game is the best idea. Maybe going MGTOW. Or maybe just like living a extended PUA phase throughout their 30s and 40s. They feel like that's the safe bet. And, if that's a decision that you want to make, that's totally cool. You're in charge of your own life. That's playing it safe, I suppose, but I don't think that's really a healthy way to live for most people. And I see that in the video requests that I get, the emails that I get, and things like that. Most guys want to find a way to solve this problem, and it's pretty clear that they can't change the system. MRA's had no luck. There's no way social media influencers and regular people out here are going to be able to change anything, right? Definitely not me. I'm just a YouTuber. That's it. But I do think there's steps that the average guy can take to where you can still have a normal relationship. You can still have a family and children and not necessarily have to worry about getting screwed over. And obviously that process is vetting your woman. Everybody wants to learn how to get women. You want to learn how to get the girls. But getting the girls, I'm telling you, that's the easy part. That's like 5% of it. The other 95% is managing it. And, if you're unable to vet women, you are bound to get screwed over. It's like buying a car without looking in the under the hood. If you buy a car without looking under the hood, you don't really know what you're getting. And I think a lot of guys do that in relationships. Now, what you should be looking out for is, I'm just going to make this as simple as possible. You should be looking out for the narcissist. And men can be narcissists too. I've met a lot of dudes who pretended to be my friends, but really they just wanted to steal shit from me. They just wanted to give me, their little pity party, make me feel bad for them, so I'll give them shit. And they're just takers. They never give anything back. I've known a lot of dudes like that, so it goes both ways. But most of the guys watching this video, most of the people are dudes, so I'm going to explain how to vet for a narcissist, because the narcissistic woman is the one that will screw your life up, guaranteed. Now, anytime you meet a woman, or if you're a woman, anytime you meet a man, there's typically 4 stages. The 4th stage is the long-term committed relationship. The first stage is you're just talking, right? So in stage 1, you're just talking. It could be somebody that you see on a regular basis, because that's typically how it works. You have your places that you go to. Maybe you're in school. Maybe you work somewhere where there's males and females, and it's somebody that you talk to every day. Maybe it's at the gym. Maybe it's at like a religious gathering, your church, or wherever it is you go. And you have women that you see and you talk to on a regular basis. That's typically how you meet women. It's very rare for you to be like walking around the mall and you cold approach a chick and that ends up being your girlfriend. Sometimes it happens that way, but most of the time you're going to meet women at your regular places. So anyways, you talk to a woman, you start to feel her out, you have some level of interest in this woman, she has some interest in you, so you exchange phone numbers. That's stage 2. Now you have 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, access to one another through phone calls and text messages, right? So these first 2 stages are where the vetting should take place, most of the vetting. A lot of people, they like to use the term love, or they like to overlook the term love sometimes. They think it's just like a made-up term. But I believe that love, respect, and trust are all the same exact thing. They're the same exact thing. You can't have one without the other. You can't say, I love that person, but I just don't trust that person. No, if you don't trust that person, you can't love that person. It's impossible. You can't say, I really trust that person, but I just don't respect that person. No. The trust and the respect goes hand in hand as well. It all goes hand in hand, right? So in stage 1 and 2, you should be determining if this person is not only a person that you can trust and you can respect, but is a person who trusts and respects you. You know what I mean? So to give you an example, if you were to tell me a detail about your childhood, some sort of a unique detail, something very personal about yourself, and you tell it to me directly, not anybody else, just me, and all of a sudden, everybody in your circle knows about it after you told me, that means I opened up my mouth. That means not only do I not respect you, but you can't trust me, right? And it's the same thing when you're, in the process of getting to know a woman, right? If she's just a blabbermouth, if she's telling everybody about your business, she's getting details about you and making you look bad, or, giving you attention that you don't want, that's probably somebody that you can't trust. Doesn't mean she's a narcissist, but it's somebody that you can't trust. And that is pretty important. Now, that's one thing that you need to look out for. But in terms of determining whether she's a narcissist or not, because that's pretty much the point of this video, what you really need to look out for, and trust me, I've been around a lot of them in my life, a lot of narcissists, and here's the way it goes. If you're a nice person, my online persona sometimes makes me look like I'm an asshole. I'm really not. People that know me in person, I'm a pretty nice person. I'm not a taker. Very seldom will I ever ask anybody for help or ask anybody for anything. I'm a giver. I give people stuff. But a lot of people are takers. But anyways, when you are a giver, you are a target for narcissists. Trust and believe. That's an absolute fact. They see you as an easy target. And I've been there and done that. So typically this is the way a narcissist comes into your life. And you'll figure this out in stage 1 and 2. When you're talking, texting, phone calls, and shit like that. They'll start to talk about their past in a way that makes you feel sorry for them. Most of the time they're making up stories, or they're being extremely hyperbolic, just over-exaggerating everything. They make up these claims that, they've been abused and they've, been mistreated. Everything in their life has just been so bad. It's not their fault. It's just, other people have mistreated them so bad, and, they want your pity. They want you to feel sorry for them. Now, this isn't to discredit people who have been abused. There are people out there that have been abused and mistreated, but typically somebody that's been abused and mistreated feels guilty. They feel ashamed of it. Even though they're the victim, they feel ashamed. So they're very unlikely to share this information with you until they know they can trust you. And it takes time. Stage 1 and stage 2, when you're just talking, texting, and phone calls and shit, they're not going to be giving you this sort of information at this point in time. All right? So if they're giving you that information, be wary. You might be dealing with a narcissist. And the reason why they're trying to do this, the reason why they're telling you these sob stories, is because they want your sympathy and they want to use it to their advantage. And anytime you try to stand up to them, anytime you try to not let them get their way, they're going to pull these stories up. And they're going to turn it around and make you look like the bad person because they're the victim and you're not showing them the sympathy that they need because you're such an asshole. Right? That's how they're going to flip it around every single time. Anyways, by the time you get to stage 3, which is actual dating, right? And in this day and age, most people aren't saving sex to marriage. At stage 3, normally you're hooking up, you're staying the night with each other, you're doing all of that stuff. And by the time you get to this stage, it's probably going to be too late if you haven't vetted her properly. If you don't have the trust and respect on point, if you haven't vetted to find out if she's a narcissist or not, you're already, in a lot of ways, you've given a lot of power over to her. So if she is a narcissist, she might have you at that point. There's a lot of things she can do. I've seen women fake pregnancies. I've seen women claim to be on birth control and cause pregnancies. I've seen false allegations, all kinds of weird shit, Stuff happens. And most women aren't going to do this to you. A lot of guys have these horror stories about all this crap happening. Most of them won't do it to you. But if you're unable to vet them, then you're putting yourself in a bad position and you're likely to, get snagged by one of these people, one of these narcissists. Because nice people, good people, giving people tend to give people the benefit of the doubt, right? So you don't vet the woman, you just give her the benefit of the doubt. And same thing if you're a woman watching this video, a lot of times you'll give a man a pass, give him the benefit of the doubt, only to find out he's a piece of shit. Anyways, so then you go from stage 3 to stage 4, right? Now you're living together, a committed relationship, possible marriage, possible children. If you've gotten to this stage and you haven't vetted, you're screwed. You just took a gamble and, you very well might lose. So anyways, if the only thing on your mind is, number 1, learning how to get the girls, and then number 2, being weary of getting the girls because you've heard of all of these horror stories, you got to understand there's a whole process in between those two. There's preventative measures, there's a lot of things that take place. So just remember, if you're one of those guys that hears these horror stories and you just want to check out and go MGTOW, really fucking weigh things out. Figure it out. Is that something you want to do? Or do you want to actually get back in there, go against the tide a little bit in the screwed up system, and still succeed, still get whatever it is you want out of life? Because it's very possible. But if you are going to, you got to make sure that person respects you, make sure that person trusts you, and you really got to vet the narcissist. Always vet the narcissist. A narcissist will expose themselves every single time. They'll give you those pity stories, make up all that shit, make you feel sorry for them. And then every time you get out of line, every time you go against that narrative, or every time you stand up to them, when they want your pity, you refuse to give it to them. Every time you do something to basically take the, the pity away from them. They'll flip it around on you every single time. Every time you go against their narrative, now you're the bad guy, they're the victim. You're the bad guy, they're the victim. You're such an asshole. When in reality, you're the good person. You're just level-headed, and you're starting to see through their bullshit a little bit. And they can't have that. They have to keep a hold of this narrative. They have to be the victim. Anytime you try to live your life or you try to do things the right way, to them, it's the wrong way. So they're going to attack you for it. And a lot of times, if you were to marry a narcissist, have children with a narcissist, and you're starting to see these signs, but it's way too late, and then finally you say, you know what, I can't do this anymore, because you'll have your moment. You'll say, I can't do this anymore. You'll stand up to her, and she'll divorce you. She'll take it all away, But with that being said, there are plenty of women, the overwhelming majority of them aren't narcissists. You just got to make sure that you vet and avoid them, the ones that are. Anyways, I hope this video was somewhat informative. I hope you found it useful. A lot of guys have been bringing up questions like these on my Friday live streams, and I've been wanting to do a detailed video about it to, maybe explain things with a little bit more depth. So hopefully this video was somewhat useful. If you got some value out of this video, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And that's about it for tonight, guys. Until next time, see ya.